Your life begins when you find peace with who you are. And this is something I wish I figured out at like 18 years old, as soon as I graduated from high school, because it would have saved me years of torment, years of like striving and hustling, trying to become someone, trying to do something, trying to make money. And not that any one of the things I've listed isn't a problem. It's not. It's fundamentally fine to do any one of those things. The problem becomes is when you start to not be okay with who you are. You're not fundamentally okay with who you are. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you like. You don't know what you dislike. You're just adopting whatever some guy on the internet or some girl on the internet or the news or school or your parents is telling you you should be. And you're going for those things, never really being at peace with who you are. And I'll tell you, I mean, that was a big process for me. But as I'm talking out loud, I'm starting to realize my sister's just like that, freaking working her ass off, her nose on the grindstone, going to school her whole life and still not, you know, living her life, still suffering. And, you know, there's nothing, again, wrong with striving, with becoming a professional or going for your dreams or aspirations. The issue only arises is when that becomes a prerequisite to be at peace and to accept yourself and to love yourself. And the way this manifested for me in my life is like becoming an asshole, cutting friends out, talking shit to people, treating the women in my life poorly. And not only that, like just spinning in circles, like spending all these years in my life. I'm 28 now. I wish I knew this at 18. Um, you know, just like making bad decisions, like getting myself into debt because I thought it was cool. That's what all entrepreneurs do, is like get themselves into debt, building their business. Um, you know, like not doing what I felt called and passionate about from the beginning with massage and now hypnotherapy because I thought it wasn't good enough. I thought it was such a lame career. And, you know, if it's not becoming a doctor or something, or owning a business or some kind of like traditional professional job, then, you know, like I didn't even consider it because it's, you know, anything that was actually genuinely who I was, you know, 'cause I'm very spiritually inclined, love healing arts and work, and I love to speak, right? All the things I was genuinely interested in, I kind of just pushed on the wayside. And granted, I did use the speaking element because I was in real estate and I made videos for that, but it was never really who I was. So I was always wearing a mask, and I never got to live the life I just genuinely wanted to live. So how do you find peace with who you are? How do you find peace in this moment, especially if you're younger, even if you're older? I mean, the sooner you should wake up, the better. But even if you're 50 years old watching this, I mean, you've got to find peace right now with who you are because it's for you. So how do you do it? How do you actually fundamentally find peace in this present moment? And there's actually a couple steps to practically do it, not just talking vague, ethereal concepts, but what does it actually mean to be at peace? And there's a couple concepts to understand before we dive into it. To be at peace with who you are means to have a certain level of healthy inner security, self esteem, and inner love. That means you accept and love yourself. That means you're secure within yourself. And that means that you have a general love for yourself. You care for yourself. If you don't have those things in place, maintaining peace is going to be impossible because you don't know what your boundaries are. You don't know what your values are. You don't know who you are. You know, it's hard to maintain peace when you don't know what to keep peace for. You don't know how to guard your peace because there's no boundaries. So the first step is practically speaking, is finding the present moment. It's becoming present with the moment now. It's getting tuned in now. It means using your breath, tuning in with your senses, feeling the weight of your body, noticing the sensations in your body, not thinking about them, but feeling them, and becoming increasingly aware of your emotions, your emotional state. I feel anxious, I feel worried, I feel happy, I feel whatever, fill in the blank. And the first step, right, presence, which leads into embodiment. You need to become embodied. What does embodiment mean? And to even be even clearer and more simple, embodiment is developing a relationship with yourself. It's being in relationship with yourself. It means you check in with yourself. It means number one, you're present with what's happening, what's going on, with what's going on in your body, what's happening in your life. You check in. What am I feeling? Sensation-wise, what's actually arising physically? What am I feeling in correspondence to that? And what do I need? What do I fundamentally need right now? Like, what's my body? I need rest. I want to go work out. I'm feeling lonely. I should reach out to my friend. You know, little things like that. And you start to develop relationship with yourself, which builds inner security, builds self-love, because you're checking in with what you need. And it builds self-acceptance, because by becoming present, you accept the moment. And by becoming present with what's happening within you, you're accepting yourself, fundamentally. And that's another thing as well. Not to hide anything. I would hide emotions. I would hide, I'm feeling scared, I'm feeling anxious because I thought it was weak or whatever. And all that does is get you further and further away from who you are, and it starts to create this facade and mask that you put out. Or a maladaptive response. Maybe you're highly empathic. In my case, I became more narcissistic, right? I wore these masks and, you know, whatever. But you start to put on these masks. And that's what I feel a majority of people have been conditioned to do. Put on masks, not be authentic, not be themselves. And the way to first start re-educating this process and to reintegrating yourself with who you are is by developing a relationship with who you are. And that means getting connected with the present moment. That means developing a relationship with yourself, beginning with your body, beginning with what you're feeling, beginning with what you're sensing, and then checking with what you need. That's fundamentally what you need to do to find peace right now. The second thing you need to do is validate your experience. You need to validate yourself. In fact, this is like the next big thing, because if you're constantly seeking outside of you, even on YouTube, you know, I've done this I still do. I have to catch myself. You're thinking about, oh man, I'm feeling really tired. You know what? Let me go on YouTube and watch a video about somebody telling me why I need to sleep or get. It's like, you don't need to do that. Validate the fact that you're exhausted and that you need to sleep, or validate the fact that you want. In my case, I love having sex. I love, just validate those experiences, those feelings, and like, yes, this is who I am. I'm a sexual creature. Validate, yes, I want this. I don't like that. And for example, fear of missing out, right? You don't go to this party or whatever because you have something going on or you just don't feel good about it. Validate yourself. I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel good. I felt like my time was better spent being at home versus going into the dialogue and the story of, what are they going to think? I didn't show up, or I should go. No, it's like validate yourself. Come back home to who you are, back to yourself. So, yeah, I mean, those are two great steps to start right there. Because once you tune into the present moment, develop a relationship with yourself through embodiment, and validate yourself, that's when your life begins, because then you're just operating as you. You're not operating as somebody else. And then, yeah, all the other things can come in. You know, all the other ventures you want to do can come in, but they're not coming from a place of, I need this to define who I am, because you're defining who you are every single day, every single moment. And even better, even more than defining who you are, you're at home with who you are. So you don't have to try to become anything. You just are. And you can recognize where you are versus where you want to be. Get connected with that intention, feel really good, and hold it. And then your body and mind will move you towards it. But you don't need to create a suffering from it. You don't need to try to strive. It all comes from being present in the moment. That's fundamentally the key piece I'm sharing with you here. So this is what I wish I knew at 18. If you're 18 watching this, even if you're 16, take this advice. In fact, I had my lady's friend's daughter. She was about to go to a rehab because she was addicted to drugs and highly suicidal. Something like that was going on. I don't know the specifics. But I was talking to her out here in my backyard. She was actually sitting here. I was sitting over there. And I was sharing with her exactly what I'm sharing with you guys now, except the steps. I didn't give her the exact steps. I did share the embodiment piece, but fundamentally, if there's anything I wish I knew sooner, it's okay to be who I am. In fact, that's when your life begins, is when you accept yourself, even if you don't know what you want. That's perfect. Because to be your authentic self is to tune in, become present. What am I sensing? What am I feeling? What do I need? And that will lead you to discovering what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to keep doing that. There's nothing else you have to do or figure out. Obviously, self-development is great. That's something I'm reintegrating into my life. You know, reading books every single day is great. Meditating is great. You know, all these things are foundational practices. But more important than all of that is just you being in a relationship with yourself. So when you go to a seminar, you go to a new party, you make new friends, you go into this business venture, you go into music or whatever you decide to do, you're not going there trying to be accepted and loved, because you're already giving yourself that. And you start to become more magnetizing, even if nobody knows who you are and you have no skills and, you know, whatever, you know, because like you're good with who you are, but you're naturally more attractive because you're comfortable in your own skin. So, hope this was helpful. I don't know who's going to be watching this, but I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to be making more videos like this. I'm a hypnotherapist and neuromuscular therapist here. And essentially what I help people do is create deep subconscious levels of change to create a life that is truly in alignment with who they are authentically. And this is the first fundamental step, so take it, implement it. It's key. And if you want more videos like this, or you want more videos on how to create profound levels of change once you discover your authenticity and you want to embody something else, leave a comment down below and let me know. All right, bye-bye.